Shalom. I want to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Machakudash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. All right, Shalom. This is going to be a quick testimony. Lord willing, I had a dream a couple months back, and now I'm starting to see now I'm starting to see it all come into fruition, and I feel like it's a two-part dream, and I'm just sharing because I feel like it's relevant due to the times that we're in right now. If it's in your brother's spirit, you know what I'm saying, just let me know what you think. But basically, I'll start off with the first one. I had a dream one time where I was getting chased down, almost like I was getting persecuted, but they were trying to harm me. And it was Northern Kingdom. It was a bunch of Jakes from Northern Kingdom, and through the spirit, I think they were from the tribe of like Naphtali or something like that, whatever. Point being, they were Northern Kingdom Jakes, and they were chasing me down, and I was able to run away from them and stuff like that. And one time I was getting away from them, and I even like levitated on top of some boxes that were like stacked up like about 10 feet tall. I was able to levitate on top of the boxes and sit up there, and then they found me. I ran off, and I was like in a building. I ran off again. I ended up in a corner, and I was hiding in plain sight. And then they passed me, and then I came back around, and then they came back, and they saw me, and they were bopping me on the head. And like, when you're in a dream, you could feel someone hitting you. And like, I felt the bops, but it was like, it wasn't really hurting me that bad. And then I ran away again, and then I was on top of like a rooftop type thing, running like on top of the rooftops, man, like running away from them. And I got away, and that was that dream, right? And then I had another dream one time where I was with the brothers. I was with a few brothers, and one of the brothers I was with was the brother Yewachanan. He's in a camp in Philly. Nevertheless, we were with them brothers, and we was like just getting out of a restaurant, and then you had Bloods. You had, if I'm not mistaken, you had both Bloods and Crips trying to put us to death, man. Okay. But this time it was Southern Kingdom Jake, and they were trying to put us to death, and we were able to drive off and get away from them, but they were like chasing after us too, like in the car, man. So it was just two dreams I had, and I was thinking to myself, like, at the time, I thought when I had the dream a couple months back, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to persecute the prophets. But now that I'm seeing it, you have Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom beefing, man. All right. You have Northern Kingdom Jake and Southern Kingdom Jake beefing against each other in Chicago. And I believe you also have some of that in New York going on as well. But a lot of it's happening in Chicago, man. Particularly, you have Issachar, fighting against Judah. You know what I'm saying? Now, they're going to say, oh, well, they're protecting their mom and pop stores and neighborhood businesses and stuff like that. That's all cool, but that doesn't mean that the Lord can't use that instance in that situation to help catapult prophecy, if you will. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to touch on that. It was two dreams I had, and another part to it that I believe was, it represents how Israel and Judah, Northern and Southern Kingdom, they're going to be at enmity with each other. But I feel like it also represents how they're going to persecute the prophets, man. So, you brothers, let me know what you think. I wanted to grab a couple precepts because I figure, it's relevant due to the times that we're in, and through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shem Shai, Lord's will, this video is edifying. And this is going to be the first scripture I start off with. I'm going to go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 54. Now, the reason why I bring this out, because the curses are also a form of prophecy, okay? And we're still going through those curses to this very day. All right, now the curses are slowly but surely being lifted off of us. All right, however, it still applies. Deuteronomy 28 and 54, it says, oh man, I really start at I could start at verse 49 because that kind of applies to what's going on today as well. All right, so let me start at verse 49. Deuteronomy 28 and 49. It says, the Lord Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Now, this did apply back then to the times of the Roman Empire during the time of 70 AD. Okay, but it also applied to the times that we're living in today, going a couple hundred years back when our ancestors came over here on slave ships, man. Okay, and then you had Esau's ancestors come over and like the scripture say, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, man. All right, verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance which shall not regard the person of the old, nor shew favor to the young. All right, and that's exactly what they're doing today and back then, man. Okay, they had babies out there on the cotton fields. All right, they used to cut open the women, like the Northern Kingdom women. They used to hang them up, cut open their stomachs, dash their babies upon the trees, man. All right, you still have a lot of old jakes that are being worked, you know, to this very day, and even back then, man. So that goes to show you they didn't show favor to the old nor the young, man. No roughly paraphrasing. Verse 51, and ye shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep until he have destroyed thee. Right, so these devils have been oppressing us, man. All right, and you know, that's a perfect example. That's what they did with Gad and Reuben. You know, they killed all the bison off. Well, not, I wouldn't say all, but they killed off a great amount of the bison. Okay, you know, so on and so forth, man. And even today, Esau oppresses us in our wages, man. Okay, verse 52. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustedest throughout all thy land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord Yahweh thy power hath given thee. Right. And this is going back to the time of 70 AD, during the time, or really a little bit before 70 AD, but around that time, during the time of Masada. All right. And you had Jake over there basically under a form of martial law. But guess what? The things written aforetime were written for our learning, man. Okay, so that, just like it happened back then, you're going to have that now, because martial law is biblical prophecy, man. Okay, verse 53, it says, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord Yahweh thy power hath given thee, in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee. Right, and during that time of Masada, they locked the cities off. No one could come out, no one could come in. So Jake was left to, you know, famine, and they had to eat their own children and things of that nature. But guess what, man? A famine is on the way now, okay? As you can see, the farming industry is plummeting. All right, the economy is failing. All right, inflammation is rising in the economy. All right, Salakia, so on and so forth, man. Okay, a famine is coming back again, and you jakes are gonna eat your own children again, man. Thus saith the Lord. Okay, cannibalism is coming back. All right, verse 54, it says, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children which he shall leave. That's right. Okay, and that's why you have Israelite on Israelite crime, man. Okay, in this case being the Northern Kingdom versus Southern Kingdom, man. All right, the man's eye being evil towards his brother, man. All right, but Esau knows when Northern and Southern Kingdom links up together, all right, then they know that we have power, man. All right, and the scriptures talk about how beautiful it is for brethren to dwell together in unity, but we won't really be unified on this side, man. We'll be unified in the kingdom, man. Okay, because right now we can't be in unity with everybody, because not everybody is right, man. All right. Anyways, the point I wanted to get was how, you know, a man's eye is evil towards his brother. Okay, and this also, you know what I'm saying, even though, you know, racial tension is a part of prophecy as well, hey, racial tension between the tribes applies as well, man. Okay, as you can see right now what's going on, man. You have Northern Kingdom Jake mowing down Southern Kingdom Jake, man. All right, and what's that's gonna cause racial tension between the tribes, man, along with the racial tension between the tribes and the other nations. First and foremost, the nation of Edom. This is Matthew 24 and verse 6. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay. Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Right, so just like how I mentioned earlier, man, famine is coming back, man. All right, there's earthquakes in diverse places, man. Okay, there's a lot of places that have lately been hit with earthquakes, man. All right, you could just look it up, and you'll see within this past month, you know, these people have been getting hit with earthquakes, man. So on and so forth, man. Okay. And then, like I said, the point being what? Nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, man. All right, that's your racial tension as well. That can apply to World War III as well, man. All right. Now I'm going to skip down to verse 12 because, like I said, I perceived as well that those dreams also represent how the prophets will be persecuted as well. Jake is going to try to persecute the prophets like they did back then. All right, but don't worry because Yahweh Shem Shai is going to fight for us, man. Okay? This is Matthew 24 and verse 12. It says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And you're seeing that now, man. You're seeing iniquity abounding in this place. You're seeing iniquity growing. And that's why the love of many are waxing cold, man. All right, people are doing a lot of cold shit. You don't see the same hospitality you did back then, man. Okay? It's verse 13. It says, but he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. Okay? Now I want to get let me go to Micah chapter 7, and this is like a precept from Matthew 10. Micah chapter 7, and starting at verse 6, I start at verse 5. It says, trust ye not in a friend, put ye not confidence in a guide, keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. Okay? Verse 6, for the son dishonoreth the father, the daughter riseth up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are they of his own house. Now this on a micro sense can apply to, literally the people within your own household that you dwell in. But this on a giant sense can apply to the nation of Israel, man. All right, because we're all considered the house of Israel, but really on a micro sense, it applies to them that dwell in your own household, man. But nevertheless, the point being what? Okay, the prophets are going to be persecuted, man, of our own people. Yahushua said it. A prophet has no honor within his own country, man. Roughly paraphrasing. Okay? And then this is a precept to Matthew, the 10th chapter, man. All right? That also applies to Matthew, the 10th chapter. Now, I also want to get something else real quick. This is the book of John, chapter 15, verse 16 through 27. It says, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain. That whatsoever ye ask, whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. Okay, right. We have been chosen in this faith. The Lord has chosen us in this faith, man. We didn't choose this life. All right, now, Lord willing, the Most High, I'll say what we have been called. Lord willing, the Most High chooses us, man. All right, verse 17. These things I command you, that you love one another. If the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. Right. So for all those people in the world that hate us, man, that's because they hated Yahushua first, man. Okay, and we, Lord willing, we be a part of the elect. We have the spirit of Yahushua, man. All right, and Lord willing, we keep the spirit of Yahushua all the way until the end. All right, and then some, Verse 19, if you were of the world would love his own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not sinned, but now they have no cloak for their sin. He that hateth me hateth my Father also. If I had not done among them the works which none other man did, they had not sinned, but now they both seen and hated both me and my Father. But this cometh to pass, that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their law, they hated me without a cause. All right, Salakia for the background. But yeah, point being what, man? Okay, like that's the same thing now, because back then Yahushua, he did a bunch of miracles amongst them. All right, and they still believe not, man. Okay, so guess what? What does that mean? They have no cloak for their sins. And even now, what we're doing, going out and prophesying on the highways and byways, believe it or not, that's a miracle, man. Why? Because at one point we were destitute of the knowledge, man. Okay, there was a point in time where we were a part of the valley of the dry bones, man. But the Lord has woken us up all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, and has given us his knowledge, man. Okay? So that within itself is a miracle, you know what I'm saying? But guess what? Brothers are literally gonna have power to do miracles, man, which leaves them without any room of gainsaying nor resisting, man. And they're gonna know in that day that the men of the Lord have been among them, man. Okay? The Lord is going to endow his men with power. So that's another thing that we got to remember, man. All right? Don't worry about, the things that are to come. Why? Because Yahweh Shem Shai is going to fight for us, man. All right? And on top of that, certain brothers will be endowed with that spiritual power, man. Okay? It says, verse 26, but when the comforters come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceeded from my Father, he shall testify of me. Verse 27, and ye also shall bear witness, because ye have been with me from the beginning. That's right. That's why our spirits bear witness with Yahweh while Yahweh. I'm going to go to John 16, starting at verse 1. It says, these things have I spoken unto you, that ye should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Ere the time cometh, that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth the Most High service. Right? So the persecution of the prophets is coming, man. Okay? But it says, and these things will they do unto you, because they have not known the Father nor me. Right? And certain brothers of the faith will get put to death for the witness of Yahweh Shai. All right, verse 4. But these things have I told you, that when the time shall come, ye may remember that I told you of them. And these things I said not unto you at the beginning, because I was with you. All right? Yeah, so the Lord has warned us of these things to come, man. That we won't be offended, but we should gird up our minds, man. Like the brother Yawana out of GMS Nashville, he posted a testimony of his dream where he was going to be put to death for the truth, man. So other brothers have had dreams like that. I know the brother Yeshua had a dream one time where he was literally being put to death for the faith, but the Lord raised him back up, man. Kind of like how the Apostle Paul was put to death for the faith, and the Lord raised him back up, man. So hey, you just gotta trust in the Lord no matter how it goes, man. Speaking to myself first and foremost, I know in this flesh, things can get bumpy sometimes. All right, but that's the flesh, man. All right, and the scriptures say what? Walk in the spirit and not the flesh, man. Roughly paraphrasing. Okay. I got a few more precepts bouncing off the other half of my dream that I believe it might have represented. Going back to how you have the racial tensions and the beef between the northern and the southern kingdom. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 6. I'll start at verse 24. It says, at that time shall friends fight against another like enemies. And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Okay? So the point being what? Friends shall fight one against another like enemies, man. And that's what you're seeing now. Okay? You have Northern Kingdom Jakes literally like blocking Southern Kingdom Jakes in their car, pulling them out their car, beating them, stabbing them, burning the car on fire, doing all types of folly to them, man, and wickedness. Now, at the end of the day, it is the judgment of the Lord. Okay? But nevertheless, prophecy, man. It's prophecy. It's prophecy. All right. Let me get another one. I'll go to Isaiah 19, verse 9, chapter 9 and verse 19. Slakia, said it backwards. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 19. It says, through the wrath of the Lord Yahweh of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel of the fire. Now, what is that touching on to? That's touching on the missiles, man. All right, the ICBM nuclear missiles. That's going to hit America and a few other countries, man. Okay? Like the land of Israel. All right? It says, no man shall spare his brother. No man shall spare his brother, right? Because you're going to have these different tensions and uproars of the people, so on and so forth, like you're seeing now. Okay? And going back to the part we brought up about the famine, even though that didn't really have to do with my dream, but I'm going to read it anyways to back up what I said earlier. Verse 20, and he shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry, and he shall eat on the left hand, and they shall not be satisfied. They shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm. Okay? Ooh, man. That's heavy. What's the next? Hey, and what's that say? That's going into cannibalism, man. Like I said, cannibalism is going to come back, man. And just imagine, they're doing all this shit right now to the tribes. The tribes are doing all this shit against each other right now. Just imagine when the famine hits, man. Okay? Verse 21, but this is spiritual. Manasseh, Ephraim, and Ephraim, Manasseh, and they together shall be against Judah. Whoa. Okay, and I was not planning to come against this scripture, man. But you're seeing that northern kingdom versus southern kingdom, man. It says, for all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. So you're seeing Ephraim against Judah. Ephraim representing the northern kingdom and Judah representing the southern kingdom, man. All right, you're seeing this right now. Okay, now this did happen back then. You know, back in the ancient world, you had the enmity between the tribes, but hey, you seeing it again to this very day, man. Okay. Like in one of the books of Chronicles, if I'm not mistaken, you had one of the tribes, you had the tribes, the northern kingdom tribes take some of the southern kingdom tribes into slavery, man. Okay. So hey, you're seeing them tensions between the tribes once again, man. All right, 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 9, it says, and salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. That's the point. All friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber. Right, going into what? The famine of the word. All right, but like the scriptures say, Matthew 12, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, man. Okay? All friends shall destroy one another, man. You know, so going into them racial tensions, man. I got one last precept, if it be Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua's will, and I'll close out. This is Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 13. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from the Lord Yahweh shall be among them, and they shall lay hold everyone on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. Okay? And that's what you're seeing right now, man, between those different racial tensions between the tribes, man. As well, you're going to see racial tension between the tribes and the other nations, man. Okay? So, yeah, that's really the point I wanted to touch on. You know, just to give a quick synopsis of everything, man. I had a dream one time that the northern kingdom was trying to put me to death. And I had another dream one time relative to the same time frame that the southern kingdom was trying to put me to death. You know? So I figured, you know, that is the spirit, you know, going into what we're seeing right now, man. You know, and I could be wrong. You know, you brothers, let me know what you think, man. You know, but I just thought about it. Had some precepts I could have pulled. You know, Lord's will, this video was edifying. Want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, B'Shem, Yahweh Shai, B'Shem, Makakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, that we will. Peace and blessing to the elect of Israel, Shalom, and Abba Ball.